You wake up, not because you're rested, but because the alarm said so. You scroll. Messages, memes, headlines. You rush. Coffee, bus, traffic, work. You survive. Meetings that mean nothing. Tasks that drain you. Then, you come home. Exhausted. Open Netflix. Scroll again. Sleep late. And tomorrow, you do it all over again. This is not living. This is maintenance. And you've gotten really good at it. But here's the brutal truth. Most people don't realize they're wasting their lives until it's too late. They confuse movement with progress, activity with purpose. Just because your calendar is full doesn't mean your life is. If you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And no, this isn't about ambition or hustle or living your dream. It's about presence, alignment, conscious choice. You're stuck in a loop, but you've convinced yourself it's normal. The world won't stop you. In fact, it'll cheer you on as long as you're functioning. As long as you're producing, consuming, and not asking too many questions. It'll sell you more distractions, more dopamine hits, more reasons to avoid the silence. Because in the silence, the truth shows up. You don't know why you're doing what you're doing. You don't feel alive, just busy. And here's the terrifying part. You could keep this up for 5, 10, 20 years. No major crisis, no obvious disaster, just slow, quiet decay. You're not tired, you're disconnected. Your soul is whispering, but you're drowning it in noise. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you felt awake in your own life? Be honest. Because if you don't break this cycle soon, it will become your reality forever. You weren't born lost. You were trained to disconnect from yourself. From the moment you could walk, they handed you a script. Be polite. Sit still. Follow the rules. Get good grades. Don't question too much. And if you dared to ask why, they'd say, because that's how the world works. You didn't choose this path. It was carved for you by teachers, parents, media, algorithms, and a system designed to manufacture obedience, not meaning. What mattered wasn't who you are, but how well you performed. So you became a good performer. You picked a safe career, built a resume, smiled on cue. You learned to keep busy, keep producing, keep playing your role. And the reward? A life that looks good on the outside, but feels hollow inside. See, you were never taught to listen to your instincts, never taught how to process fear or how to sit with sadness. You were taught to function, even if it meant shutting off everything that made you feel alive. That's not your fault. But it is your responsibility now, because if you don't realize how deeply conditioned you are, you'll keep chasing what never meant anything to you in the first place. Money that doesn't fulfill, status that doesn't heal, validation from people who don't even know you. It's like running full speed on a treadmill and wondering why you're not getting anywhere. And if you dare to step off, they'll call you lazy. If you slow down, they'll say you're lost. But maybe slowing down is the first time you're actually seeing the truth. The system doesn't want you free, it wants you compliant. But here's the plot twist. You don't need permission to take your life back. You just need to wake up. You call it anxiety, the tightness in your chest, the restless sleep, the feeling that something's always off, even when everything looks fine. Maybe a doctor called it depression. Maybe you've even taken something to numb it. But what if I told you that pain isn't a malfunction? It's a message. Carl Jung once said, neurosis is always a substitute for legitimate suffering. In other words, your psyche is not broken. It's screaming. Screaming because the life you're living isn't aligned with the truth of who you are. You think you're failing, but actually, you're just out of sync with your soul. That gnawing discomfort? It's not weakness. It's your inner compass trying to correct your course. Think about it. When did the symptoms start? Probably when you started silencing your instincts. When you said yes to jobs, people, and routines that drained you. When you kept pretending everything was okay just to avoid confrontation. With others, and with yourself. But here's the trap. We've been conditioned to suppress anything that doesn't fit. So instead of asking why the pain is there, we drug it. We scroll it away. We bury it in productivity. And the more you run from it, the louder it becomes. You're not sick because you feel too much. You suffer because you've stopped listening to what matters. Pain isn't the enemy. Denial is. Because real transformation doesn't begin when you feel better. It begins when you finally stop numbing and start listening. What if your breakdown is actually a breakthrough waiting to happen? But to see it, you have to pause. You have to face the thing you've spent years avoiding. Only then can the healing begin. Let's be honest. Motivation isn't your problem. You've watched the videos, read the quotes, set the goals. You've even had days where you felt fired up, only to crash right back into the same loop. Why? Because you don't need another pep talk. You need a breakup, a violent, honest breakup with the version of you that's keeping this cycle alive. The truth is, you've gotten comfortable with being stuck. You know this life isn't fulfilling, but at least it's familiar, and familiarity is seductive, even if it's killing you. You stay in the job that numbs you. You keep routines that drain you. You tolerate relationships that shrink you. Not because they're good, but because they're predictable. You've convinced yourself that changing is hard. But what's harder? Waking up 10 years from now with a life you don't recognize and realizing you let it happen. Here's the harsh truth. Comfort is a cage. And every time you choose comfort over truth, that cage gets tighter. Your world gets smaller. Your soul gets quieter. You don't need more inspiration. You need separation. You need to walk away from the habits, people, and environments that are feeding your stagnation, even if it hurts, especially if it hurts. Because pain isn't always a sign to stop. Sometimes it's proof that you're finally cutting ties with what was never meant to stay. Ask yourself this. What's one thing in your life you know you need to walk away from, but haven't? That's your starting point. You want change? Then stop managing your misery. End the contract. Burn the script. Break the cycle. Otherwise, nothing changes. And deep down, you already know that. Let's cut the noise. You're not confused. You already know what needs to change. You've known for a while. It's not that you don't have clarity. It's that you don't want to face the pain that comes with clarity. Because once you admit the truth, you can't unsee it. You can't keep pretending. You can't keep saying, I don't know what to do, when what you really mean is, I don't want to deal with what doing it will cost me. Maybe it's quitting the job. Maybe it's ending that dead relationship. Maybe it's finally setting boundaries that will make people uncomfortable. But here's the twist. Staying where you are also costs you. Every day you delay action, your soul pays the price. Not in dollars, but in disconnection, in regret, in a slow erosion of self-respect. You think avoiding the hard thing is saving you pain? It's not. It's just spreading it across weeks, months, and years. That's how most people die before they're dead, by avoiding one honest moment of discomfort and choosing a lifetime of quiet misery instead. Discipline isn't punishment. It's self-respect in action. It's the decision to stop negotiating with the part of you that wants to stay numb. So here's something simple but powerful. Turn off your phone for 1 hour today. Just one. Sit with yourself. Feel whatever rises. Write, breathe, don't run. And when you come back, notice what changed. Because maybe what's missing isn't another strategy. Maybe what's missing is you, the real you, the one who's been buried under obligations, opinions, and excuses. You already know what to do. Now the only question left is, are you finally ready to do it? There's something terrifying about quiet regret. It doesn't scream. It doesn't break things. It just lingers in the background of your life, like a ghost that won't leave. You know the one. The version of you that never spoke up, that stayed where it was safe, that watched the years pass and told themselves, next week, next year, when I'm ready. But the truth, you were never going to be ready, not for the pain, not for the change. Because real change doesn't come when you're comfortable. It comes when you're done. Done lying to yourself. Done pretending this version of life is fine. Done ignoring the scream inside that says, this is not who I came here to be. The scariest part of wasting your life is that you don't realize it's happening until it's already happened. One day you'll look in the mirror and see someone who used to dream, someone who used to believe there was more, and your only wish will be that you could go back and shake yourself awake. Let this be that moment. Let this be the before in your story. Before you stopped waiting, before you stopped conforming, before you finally chose to live on purpose. You don't need a 10-step plan. You need a line in the sand. Draw it today. No more silent mornings where you feel dead inside. No more routines that erase you. No more selling your soul for approval, attention, or comfort. You're not here to survive. You're here to build a life that feels like yours. And it all starts with one brutally honest decision. Either you change your life, or your life keeps changing you into someone you don't recognize. Which one will it be? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.